Obi has co-founded Belat Cotton Africa (BCA) is a social enterprise with a PACT mandate. The full meaning of PACT: production, advocacy, research, and training. Obi is a creative and an alumnus of the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, and she also holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in English and Literary Studies. She holds a professional diploma in education (PDE), as well as an ordinary diploma in library and information sciences. She's a product of numerous on-the-job professional trainings and workshops in education and fashion. She serves with schools and organizations to advise and design curriculum and framework. She currently serves as director of Bellat Institute of Fashion and Creative Technology, and she's the creative director at Bella TD. Obi serves on the board of a number of NGOs and youth organizations. She's married to Olorun Shola Oshashona, and they both live in Abeokuta, Nigeria. Once again, I'd like to welcome my sis to the show, Mrs. Obiageli Oshashona. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
So, how are you this afternoon? And just to get you into the mood, when you're not busy with work, what do you do? How do you unwind?
I listen to music a lot.
Your volume is low, I think. I could hear you clearly before. But let's go on. Go on.
I listen to I love music. So
Music.
yeah.
What genre?
Well, I love soul music. Yeah. And I
Soul.
also love
Okay.
spiritually inspired music. Yeah.
Bear with me 1 minute. 1 minute, please.
All the poetry I'm using the mic. Could that be the every line? All the love songs in the world and every melody and rhyme. If it were combined,
Okay. I'm using the mic. I hope that's okay.
what I want to define when I try to describe my love for you. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك.
Hello, can you hear me now? I'm very audible or faintly. Okay. Take off the mic and try without the mic. Is it faintly audible?
I love so inspiring music, so stirring music.
Okay.
So I do that a lot, and I love personal times to like just sit and do nothing. You know,
By personal time, quiet time, away from everybody. Are you like that?
like I'm really really busy and engaged. So if I get a moment to sit by myself, not think about anything, not do anything, just relax, it's like it's a treasure for me because I don't get to do that all the time.
Right. Okay. Let's get into it. So I would ask you because I know you're into the sustainability space, and I know that um I believe it does tie into the SDG goals. So which of them would you say your path, the path that you have carved for yourself, which of the SDG goals would you say that you are intentional about?
Okay, we're intentional about goal one. Goal one talks about ending poverty, and but we are kind of very unique in the way we capture these goals and we relate with the goals,
Okay.
because we believe that poverty is not just physical. It's not just not having materials or not having food. It is actually the thing that makes you not have is what the thing is. So it's the cost.
Course that you actually are focused on dealing with.
We are focused on dealing with the root cause, because for instance, I was in a taxi one day, and then there was a story of someone who had won a lottery and he won 10 million naira many years ago. So the guy was seen at the bus stop, and the driver was telling us that this guy has been to Europe and back. He won lottery of 10 million, but he ended up right back on the streets. So that poverty had nothing to do with not having money, but the inability.
It was something
Yes.
ingrained in him, and so wow.
Yes. The poor will be poor. So it's important to get rid of the poverty within, because that's when you can produce. And poverty, somebody defined poverty as passing over opportunities repeatedly. So there has to be something making you not see an opportunity and not able to recognize that this is an opportunity. Just like in Nigeria, we have so many opportunities for change, but we are really crying about the fact that there are problems. We are crying about the problems, but those problems are really an opportunity for change. So for us, it's really about the thinking and the mentality.
Because
and that's
in every problem is actually a solution. So if you are a creative solutionist, you will see the money and you will see the end to the poverty. That's the reality.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the idea.
So
That's the idea.
that's goal one. What other goals are you intentional about, or what other goals are addressed in the course of your life, the way you've structured your work, your career, and all of that? Which other SDG goals tend to fall in line or get resolved? Absolutely.
We're also very, very passionate about Goal 4, Goal 8, and Goal 12.
Okay.
So I'll just mention what we do with those goals quickly. Goal 4 talks about promoting lifelong learning and like education for all. And I realized that most times the children are left out. The experience that we've had operating from Adopter, for instance, has opened our eyes to the limitation in the learning system that we have here. The children are made to go to school. They go to school like they're going to work. From morning to 6 o'clock, children are coming back, and on Saturdays they still go to school. And I'm like, what? Children shouldn't be subjected to this. They need some time to relieve their creative juices. So what we did at the Institute, Bell Institute of Fashion and Creative Technology, we designed programs for kids. We have to work with the environment that we are around. We have to find a way of breaking, into the structure that is already on ground. So we created something fun for the kids. We call it Soul Plus for kids and things. First of all,
your soul music into it.
No, Soul Plus. It has to do
okay.
soul. Yes, it's fashion and more. Okay. So we are talking fashion and also etiquette for young children. So children start learning skills, because skills exposes you to a lot of discipline. Right. And then if you realize, that parents cry a lot because of indolence in children, that children are lazy, they don't want to do things, they find it hard to apply themselves, in versatile ways. So, but why would they be able to do that if they are only regimented and restricted to particular form of learning, which is their cognitive
That will
development?
actually kill their creativity. They're not exposed to explore their creative sides. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we did was to create programs that offer the opportunity for them to experience other things, to expose them to etiquette, to expose them to refinement, to expose them to fashion, because fashion will fuel their creativity, and it will also help them to develop discipline and ability to sit on task, because fashion sewing is very, very tasking.
You can tell me
Yes.
about it. I did clothing and textile in secondary school, and
Really?
yes, I tried to further after secondary school because my mom used to run a fashion outfit, and I used to be her star girl because I was happy to get on the machines and help support all those
Wow.
deliverables. I'm able to, but now I cannot even. I don't even have the patience to thread a needle right now.
I guess it's because, well, when you don't give it time, it kind of slips. But I hope you get opportunity to, try again, even if
We'll
it's
see about
for
it. Maybe this session will ginger me to reignite that aspect of my life.
I'm telling you, I feel like everybody needs fashion.
Right, right. So you talked about SDG goal 1, 4. I had
Yeah.
8.
So I talked about goal 8. Goal 8 talks about inclusiveness, sustainable economic growth for productivity, and then decent work employment. I believe that, especially in Africa, other people outside there in the world, in other clans, fashion designers are doing well financially, economically. So, but it's like we are underpaid, and then you find out that here everybody tends to fend for themselves, but we are trying to create an environment where opportunities are created and people get to earn the right reward for the kind of work that they do. So it's really creating that value system and creating that space that allow people with requisite skills, or people who have skills but their skills are not requisite enough, to be upgraded so that they can earn well for what they do. And then we realize that, people kind of bespoke tailoring, that is custom made clothing, everywhere in the world apart from Nigeria or maybe Africa, it's expensive. Like, you get well paid because it's a lot of rigor. But here, the work that people do, it's on the mind. They're not well paid for it, and so people are just struggling doing what they're doing. That should not be. So what we are doing is finding the platform, creating the space so that people who have skills can upgrade their skills, or who have requisite skills can have opportunities that allow them to earn the right wage for the kind of work that they do, the right work that they do. Yeah.
Before you go on, so as you spoke, what came to my mind? I kept on saying to myself, Madam, they speak plenty English. Every tailor now be Oma. That's where we're coming from.
That's the orientation that we have.
Exactly. So there's work to change that. Until then, it's a long drive, right?
Yeah.
1 million. Me, I'll pay 1 million for clothes. I beg, don't be that so you want to. So until we start to reorientate people about the difference in, being an artist, because that's your artistry coming to play. That's your ingenuity coming out, That's masterpiece that you're producing. It's not just a random cut and sew, right? So I think, yes, and I'm hoping that Bell Art is one of the things that you do at Bell Art is to clearly clarify that aspect of our lives, and it affects every other work. I think generally everybody feels the same way. The way some blue collar jobs in the Sena climes earn way better than the white collared guys, right? And that's because there's dignity in labor. There is they understand that it's a special skill that not everyone can have. And
Ah, yes.
same thing here. I totally understand where you're coming from.
I totally agree. You are absolutely right.
Right. We'll
Yeah.
get there one tailor at a time, one fashion designer at a time, and we'll show the difference and continue to clarify. Right. So SDG goal 148, and I think you mentioned 9 as well.
I mentioned 12.
12, yeah. So 148, 12. I'm not the best student in class, but apologies. But Mariam should have thanked me and said, how dumb can you get? But yes, please go on.
No,
SDG
no,
12.
not at all. So goal 12 talks about sustainable consumption and production patterns. And I think that's why we're having this conversation. We're talking about sustainability, yes. So anybody who cares about people, cares about the world today should actually be talking sustainability. And then when we have businesses, I believe more than any other plan, Africa, we have a need to think about sustainability, think about sustainable patterns. And a lot of the problems that we're having in the world, global warming, climate change, it's really because we didn't think sustainable patterns from the beginning. So for our survival, for the continuity of the earth, it is important to think in terms of economics and in terms of production to have our patterns, become sustainable. Yes. And then I would like to say that we also, like every other goal that I've talked about, we have a unique inclination towards this. Yes, we have a unique inclination towards this goal. For one of the things that motivated us to think about this was the experience that we had, because we are a heritage brand, and we are a heritage brand for the sake of sustainability.
Right.
Yeah, and then we realize that Abeokuta, where we are, is the home and hub of AGHA textiles.
True.
And we learned from history that the Itoku AGHA hub, textile hub, is as old, if not even older than Manchester in the UK. Yes. So we've had this art for this length of time, but then you look at Manchester and then look at Itoku, and the question is, what happened? Yes, what happened? And then we realize that what happened has to, borders on sustainability. And it is not only in textiles, it's also in other areas even
agriculture has its own pattern. Sustainability is actually part of, well, I mean, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, it's also because I used to look, we had blacksmithing families in Africa before we had colonialism. We had goldsmithing families in Africa before we had colonialism. So if we had blacksmithing, that means we had iron, we worked with iron, we could refine salt and all of those things. So what happened? Why didn't these industries develop? Why wasn't this art committed to the next generation? Why wasn't it sustained? Why did the families have to leave it? And that's the question that we're asking with AGHA. So the next generation of these families, because there are some AGHA arts that are, going extinct. They are becoming fake. We're leaving them behind. In fact, so many that we have left behind. There's a project we're doing, we call it the Heritage Project. And you can see the top I'm wearing is Ashoki. And it's a contemporary design, because there's a statement that we're trying to make with the Heritage Project. This is not the time to talk about it. But while doing this project, there was a particular Ashoki that I was looking for, and it's made with silk. So the lady told me, the vendor told me that they no longer make that type of Ashoki. I was like, how is it that we were able to make these things that are so great and glorious, way back? Why can't we have it today? Why didn't we advance the art? Find new technology. Why didn't we grow it? And then, the people who could do it got old, and then, got out of the trade. They're like, what happened to the younger generation of their families? You see?
what happened was very simple. When they were growing, they felt left behind because they didn't have education. You see my hand
Yes,
movement? They
yes.
assumed that paper education was what it was, and that was a very wrong thing. So everybody chased the kids away from their own trades. They are stuck in
Thank
trades.
you very
So they
Thank
didn't.
you very much. You are right on point. You are spot on point. Because that's what it has to do with our value system. We were meant to believe, and we actually believed it, that, the colonial education and the paper education that we had was better than, the art that we had. And because it was palliative, it paid at the time, because immediately you have that paper education, you get to be a clerk in an organization, you get to travel abroad, your family changes, you get money, but it's only for the moment. It's not sustainable. You can see today that it's not sustaining us. People have degrees and they are earning 30,000 and 50,000, and you can make a dress for 50,000, a million. You can make a dress. So how does that flow? So we need to really, really rethink these things. And what the families should have done would have been that the families would have passed the art to their next generation. So there's something that I find in Europe, that the family businesses are sustained. It goes from generation to generation. It's not like we don't have art. In fact, even Europeans steal our art. So they still are, they put it in their museums. We pay a lot to go look at those art forms, and then the next generations of those people who created those arts don't even have a knowledge of this thing. So that's what is happening with Nigeria. And so when we were thinking sustainability, we were also thinking of how our culture is important for our economy to be sustained, for our life to be sustained, for our culture to be sustained, and for us to be sustained as a people, because it is through your culture that you are identified, and that's the uniqueness that you have to give to the world. And since it is a global village, what are we offering to the world? Are we just collecting, or we are also giving something in extra? Because it's when we give something that we can have economic returns, and so that's how we can be sustained. So we realize that using these funds, and not just buying it off the people, but working with a community of people. We are want to develop a community, develop clusters of people who can come together, do things together. We don't want to produce the ASHO. We want to encourage the people, create platforms for people who are creating the ASHO to continue to create it, so that their economy can be sustained. And we want to make it attractive, so that the next generations of those families will be interested, can see the value in that. Yes.
Beautiful. That's awesome. And so let's just get down to it. At Bell Art, on a scale of using the percentage, how much would you say indigenous materials that you consume at Bell Art? Would you say, just put a percentage to it, how much local content do you consume?
If you ask me, I would say the goal is 100%.
Right.
But we are not even at 90%.
If you're at 70, that's good for me.
No, we are not even at 70. We are not even at 50%. We are not even at, because why I'm saying this? You see this action that I'm wearing?
Yeah.
It's made from yarns, right?
True.
Do we produce the yarns? No. So the creativity, the design might be from us, but every other thing that is used to create that is not from us.
Okay.
So you cannot even say we're not even 2%. So that's very well. It's a real big situation that we are in. It looks like the problem, it looks like a threat, but you see it depends on the way you look at it, because that is an opportunity, which means that we have a big opportunity to create change, to make a difference, to build business and economy. Yeah, because It's other people that are producing the lands and they're paying a lot of money. We are buying these things. You know, Nigeria is very fashion conscious. We are fashionable. But we don't even make 5% of the clothes that we wear. Yeah.
That's a rude shock. And so I think my next question will then be, since you have identified there's a problem, so for example, how much work is Bella putting into so for example the threads are not from us, the yarns, and so if it's a silk for example, do we even have the cotton fields? Are we even farming the silk? I think it's from cocoon and worms, all those ones that produce the silk. Do we even have any partner in that space? Are you looking to locate whoever was doing it in those days? If they've even gone extinct, where can we start from and all of that? And so start to then work in partnerships and collaborations to start to revive those things. Baby steps. At the end of the day, it would come to what steps would you say you've taken to get us from 2% to maybe 10% in the next 5 years?
Well, I'm smiling because that's what the whole heritage project is all about. Right. First of all, during the COVID, we're like, do you know that if China says they are not selling to us, we are done for? So we realize that if you do not own your own technology, you will be owned. We don't have a choice as to whether we should produce. We have to produce to survive. So that's what the entire heritage project is about. It's a community project. And it has to do with, we already in a backward integration that we went back to cotton to see, because that's where the product is coming from. That's the beginning. And we realized that cotton is indigenous to Africa. So even before interaction with Western nations, we had the technology for what do they call it now? For ginning cotton. Okay, but now, even though we have the technology, we do not even own the rights to that technology anymore. So, but the thing is that these forms are still there, only that nobody is paying attention to these forms. And I believe that it is time for it to be identified. That's what we're doing. We're not going to do it. We're identifying a community of people who do these things. And then we're not going to keep doing it at the level where we are, because technology has grown. So it is a challenge that we have. For us, it's an adventure. It's more than a business. It's entrepreneurship. Okay, that's a bit different. That's the difference between an entrepreneur and the business person. Entrepreneur wants to solve problems, and the business person wants to maximize profit. Okay, so but we want to take a go at it. So it has to do with, that's what, if you read my profile, you talked about Bell Cotton Africa. Okay, so we planted some cotton. We're going to process that cotton, and it's a farm to fashion project. So that's when we can say that, okay, this is a Nigerian product. When the cotton is from us, the ginning is here, the yarns are produced here, the textiles, and then the garments. Yes. So it's a whole process.
The whole 9 yards, start to finish, end to end.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes, end to end. And that's why designer garments cost so much. When you have custom garments, that especially the historical ones, they can tell you where the cotton was planted, where it was processed. If there's artwork on it, who did the embroidery? If there is
put into the hands,
yes.
And yes.
So everything, both to the craftsmen, the whole process of craftsmanship is traceable. You can trace it. Okay, so it has to be traceable to be sustainable. Yes, so that's what they do, and that's why the garments are so expensive.
Right.
Okay, yes. So and that's what we're doing. So the people get together right wage for the right labor. It's something we have to do. We have to do it for ourselves. I know there is fast fashion, the society is moving and all of that, but some people have to, sit down and think, this way that we are going, where is it going to take us? Can we have an alternative route? Where would that take us? And then we need to decide where we want to go.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask a question off track because we're actually on a trajectory, but I want to just take you away from that path. Just very quickly to mundane. Is a mundane question? It's like a basic question. So normally, when you sell clothes for your customers and all those pieces, most people just throw the pieces away. What do you do with the pieces? And, how does that fit into sustainability? What exactly can you do with those pieces without making them end up in a dump site somewhere? Is there any use for them? Because whatever you say now, any fashion designer out there that isn't already thinking like this will then say, oh, that's actually true. I can reduce wastage if I do this. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you for that question. Actually, because fashion contributes over 60% of the dump sites in the world, yes. So that's a very important question because the work we are doing can contribute a lot to environmental degradation if we don't know how to handle our waste product. So we have a permaculture principle that we embrace as an organization, and it is to circular economy. Okay, so you have to think of your process, how it all works. That permaculture in principle, one of the principles of permaculture says produce no waste. So if you look at our receipt, it is written that pieces of customer garment and fabrics will be upcycled to other art forms to protect the environment so that we don't create waste. So we already
Undo me and say, hey, I saw my material. You kept my material for great one, nice.
Yeah, and then the students we're a TVET school and also a fashion brand. So the students we produce, there's a particular student that graduated from our institute. She's doing the work in sustainability. You can check her up online, No Waste Mobi. She's doing a lot on upcycling, yes, producing and teaching. So we do a lot. We make bags, reusable bags for delivery instead of using nylons. Yes, we do. Then we produce other art forms. I wish I had the time to get an art piece to show you, like wall frames made from fabrics. Then we make accessories also, hair pieces, jewelry bags, carrier bags, different accessories, even transforming old bags and shoes into new ones using fabric on them. So, and also, if you look at I'm going to show you something. I don't know if I can share this, but our brand image. I'm going to move around. I want to go to the studio. Our brand image here says the Art Institute of Fashion and look at it. Okay, so this was from waste stones, like fabrics that we had done that were stoned. So all of the pieces that fall off when you're cutting, we don't throw anywhere away. We gather them, we keep them. And then pieces of fabrics also, we keep them. So this was designed by us. This is our logo. It was handmade. Yeah. And then we also have art pieces. This is an art piece.
Oh my world.
Yeah. So there's so many things that we do that we don't produce waste. Like, we teach the children during the summer. We have a big summer, we call it the creative summer. We teach the children, and they're so intense. Like what was saying, even a little piece of thread, I can still use it to do something. Like the action, yeah, that comes out. So the thing is the value. When you understand what you're doing is contributing to the environment and how it comes back to us, you know that you have to embrace those
More
ethics.
intentional about what you do. You are more you're consciously doing things, knowing that what goes around comes around. What's going to come back to me when
Oh
I,
yes, oh yes, oh yes,
you
oh
know,
yes,
awesome.
oh yes.
So, how can you encourage other fashion designers to toe the path of sustainability? Because I remember, and I say I wish Miriam was here because she's more, she'll be more fiery about this because there's a project we run at Civico Foundation. Civico Foundation is one of our affiliated projects that we do. And there's an empowerment program where we empower medium, small to minute, micro, mini businesses. And one of our beneficiaries happens to be a fashion designer. And so she was on her case on sustainability this, sustainability that. Miriam is a researcher, she's a scientist, and so you can understand how she keeps carrying us where we don't know. She carry us where we don't know every time.
Yeah. I remember speaking with her.
Yeah. So she comes from, I have to say that, madam, calm down. It's not everyone that understands where she's coming from. The sustainability thing is completely alien to her. So imagine, I mean, I'm going to share this link with her to even listen to and write notes and come back to me. Miriam made her commit to sending her waste materials. You don't know what to do with it, be sending it to me. I will gather it and find someone that knows what to do with it, but do not throw anything away. And the woman brought this bag of pieces to my house. And, Mariam, did you send this person to me to do this? Because she's so passionate about this. But then how many fashion designers are conscious about what she just said? How much of our waste products end in dump sites and the impact on the ecology, the ecosystem generally, and people are just oblivious. So what would you say to them, and how quickly can they start to implement sustainable growth in their own chosen field of work?
Well, I think for a lot of people, if you consider the economic aspect, first of all, you have to have the value. And for us as an institute, we have workshops. And for instance, we advertise a workshop that we're yet to hold. It is called Fashion and the Circular Economy.
Okay.
So what we want to do is it's an advocacy initiative. So it's reaching out to fashion designers to show them what they can actually do with their waste. Because for a lot of fashion designers, waste is a problem. They're looking for how to get rid of their waste. So before we started structuring ourselves to be a sustainable brand, we had problem with waste, disposing our waste. We knew that we didn't want to burn our waste, but we were burning our waste, and that was not good for us until we decided for sustainable patterns. So we decided to be keeping all of those wastes and then converting it into other art forms and pieces that we even use. We even have an initiative we call it Clothe a Child Africa, Clothe a Child for Africa. Yes. So we've had outreaches where children, it was not worn clothes, but new clothes that were made from all the work that we have done in the year. Close to the end of the year, we use the pieces, make designs that we're going to give away to children in interior villages. So we identify a village and then we go there. So other fashion designers have opportunity to be a part of it. But for those who are in business, their waste, embracing for circular economy could be a way of even other sources of income for them. For instance, the artwork that you saw, it's a lot of money. This artwork, we even have some, this artwork has gone as far as the US. Yes. So, and it's another source of, when you go for exhibitions, we go
to exhibitions and sell them.
And then the hair pieces, the earrings, necklaces, different accessories that we have is also a way of you generating income. Sometimes customers come and they want to make a hair piece in the fabric that they have. And then sometimes they come here, they are sitting and waiting to be attended to, and then they see pieces that we can pick. So it's a way of generating income for you. Yes, so you can convert it to wealth. You can turn your waste to wealth.
Right.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, because we're out of time, I'll let you mention that workshop that is upcoming so that whoever listens to this, we're going to share it immediately, and then whoever listens to it can then share with other fashion designers that can be a part of that workshop. So share more details in 1 minute as we wrap up.
Okay, so the circular economy for fashion designers, it's an advocacy program that is going to help fashion. It's a workshop to teach fashion designers what they can do with their waste. And then they can generate a lot of money. They can also save the environment. They can also solve the problem of looking for how to dispose or get rid of their waste.
When is the
So,
workshop holding? Online, virtual, physical, the location, the date, the time?
we planned the workshop for to be a physical workshop, okay, but because we are going through a structural change, where we are doing some renovations on our structure, so we had to postpone it. So we are going to announce when the new date is going to be, so that people can take advantage of it. So we'll send you the flyer. You can also share it on the
We'll be
platform.
happy to broadcast it. Thank you so much, Mrs. Obiageli or Shashono, for being with us today and sharing insights on how to, have a sustainable environment, and how, because ultimately we all have a role to play in our world, in the way the world
Yeah.
is. What goes around surely come around. You want the best to come back to you. Thank you so much for giving us your time, your wealth of experience, your money to be here. We'll love to have you again, and I hope you can say yes to being with us again.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I thank you for carrying the conversation. I really had a good time with you, and I'll be glad to be back.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much. All right, take care of yourself and make all the millions. We'll be coming to collect from you soon. Take care. Bye.
No
And
problem.
regards to your
All
family.
right.
All right then.
You too. Thank you. Bye.